Today, we are taking all these foam cubes and making a fingerboard foam pit. So fingerboarding is awesome, but we can all agree that it has one big problem. And that problem is learning new tricks on a fingerboard. You get hurt so often. So today, we are going to fix that problem of getting hurt spraining your finger joints fingerboarding. And that is why we are making a foam pit for a fingerboard. Yeah, you don't actually get hurt fingerboarding, but I thought that'd make a good intro, but it did. Okay, so to start this project, we need a piece of foam board. So this is the piece of foam board we are going to be using today. Just standard white foam board. I got this at Dollarama. This was $1.25 Canadian, so that's only like $1 American, not even. While I was in Dollarama, I also found these nice sponges. These are just nice, soft kind of foam pit foam cubes. This is pretty much perfect for a fingerboard foam pit. So I got a package this big for around $1.50, so it's pretty cheap stuff. So we are going to use the foam board to make a little bit of a box, I'm kind of thinking, and then we're probably just gonna cut up some of this foam and make some foam cubes and then put it in the box we make. Also, before we get started, I wanted to introduce this little guy. So this is our new little cat named Whiskey Jack, after the bird, because he looks kind of like Whiskey Jack. He's not able to jump up on here yet, so he's not able to like come see us do stuff with fire yet, but that'll come. Ginger also really likes this little cat. We kind of didn't know how I would go introducing them, but Ginger really likes him. Getting there. As I was saying, we also need to make a ramp for our box, so we are going to be using some paper to make the ramp. This is kind of the same method I always use to make ramps, so now let's get into it. So kind of my idea to make this as efficient as possible is we're going to draw some lines on something kind of like that, and then cut it like that, cut it right off. So then we'll have folding sides that'll come up, and then we'll glue the ends on. So then we don't really need to cut separate pieces on to glue it on the side, and then we can just glue these other end pieces on. So let's do that. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, just keep watching the video and you'll know. So we have this now. What is this? I'll tell you. We measured 4.5 inches on each side here. So now we are going to cut our foam board like that, but not all the way through. Because there's paper on both sides, that means if we slice halfway through, we can break that last little bit of foam, and then these are going to kind of fold up like that, and then we'll be ready to glue the ends on. So now that I see this, I think 4.5 inches might be a little bit much. So I think we're gonna take an inch off of each one of these, and then it'll go down to 3.5 inches. I just think that'll look a little bit better. So now that I took an inch off of each side, this is looking a bit better. And something else that I think we're going to do, because I don't know if we have enough foam cubes for this to be that big, what we are going to do is turn this into a complete box. So to do that, I made 2 mics here. So this is gonna be the size of a foam pit instead of it being like that big, but that's all right, still lots of room. So because we are making this a box, we don't need these squares, so now it's time to glue. So now the box for our foam cubes is complete. So now time to put the foam cubes in. But not like this, we're going to cut them into small cubes. Cutting these foam cubes with a very sharp blade is just so satisfying. at least to me cutting it, a lot of satisfying videos say it's like, oh, that's not satisfying, but to the person doing it, it's satisfying. So this size is pretty good. I might try to go just a little bit smaller because these are a little bit too big to scale, and I kind of like to go to scale, so now time to cut all the rest of these.
A few moments later.
So after over half an hour, I've cut all these foam cubes into here, and I was definitely making them a little bit smaller just because I feel like this size is a bit better, a little bit more to scale. So now all we need to do is make the ramp for our foam pit. So I do have a ramp that maybe would work, but it's not quite the right size. So I'm going to make a 3.5-inch fingerboard ramp out of foam boards. Let's get it. So to do this, I'm just going to measure 3.5 inches right there. And now I'm just going to draw what I want it to look like. Simple as that. So because we have this little piece here, it's not exactly 3.5 inches. That's why I had to change my line a little bit. So now that we have these made, I need to figure out how wide I'm going to make it. I'm thinking something about like that. So for this part, this doesn't need to be completely straight. Freehanding it will work just as well. Now we just need to cut about 8 more of these and then we'll be ready to glue. So we didn't end up needing 8, but we used 5. So now time to put the paper on. So to do this is pretty simple. All we really need to do is put some hot glue on the sides like that, a little bit on the middle, and then we place the paper and we're good to go. First, I'm just going to glue the top and then we'll be ready to do the sides. Something I'm just going to do is put this in here for a little bit of a support on top. I am very happy how this turned out, not even just the foam pit pipe, but this ramp looks awesome. So now time to ride it. And because I'm a biker, I always say ride, but I'm supposed to say skate, so now time to skate it. Now I can try tricks I never thought I would do on a fingerboard. So now I won't sprain my ankles, break my finger joints. Okay, I'm just kidding. This has no practical use, but it is a ton of fun. You can also combine a few different things to make it even more fun. This was a ton of fun to build, and I hope one of you guys do this as well, because this is a super cheap way to have a lot of fun on a fingerboard. And also, if you're just getting into fingerboarding, this can kind of make it a little bit more interesting, because getting into fingerboarding is a pretty frustrating thing, because you will try forever just to get a little ollie, and even if you have a landing, most of the time you're probably not going to land on the landing, because you're just either going to fly away with the board, or your fingers aren't going to land on the board. So just having this little bit of a setup makes it a little bit more fun to get into fingerboarding. So thank you for watching today's video. Be sure to check out these other two with the 2 boxes over there. Subscribe button is down there like always if you want to subscribe to the channel. We do fingerboarding videos pretty often, so hit the subscribe button if you want more of those videos. Social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you in my next video.